Hello everyone, welcome to Ushuaia in lovely Argentina. We're going to be flying the VOR approach to runway 25 using the Ushuaia VOR alongside the Ushuaia ILS glide path. So yeah, it's a bit of a complicated approach. Basically I'm now currently flying the 110 degree radial until 12 DME on the ILS. So the VOR doesn't have a DME system, but the ILS does, so we're using the ILS's DME to get to the right position before making a turn onto the 273 degree radial at 12 DME. So you can see the glide path there's just coming in. I'm going to activate approach mode actually. It's way too fast, slow down, 12.6. I need to go into here and change this to 273. There we go, so now I'm aiming for the 273 degree radial. I'm going to hold 4000 until the glide path, and I'm basically going to use the glide path to do the vertical setup, and I'm going to be using the VOR for the horizontal setup. So yeah, not too straightforward, which is good because that's how I like it. Obviously in Ushuaia we've got a nice temperature of 11 degrees Celsius, so the runway is completely covered in snow as you'd expect. Welcome to Flight Simulator 2020, where the weather doesn't do what anything thinks. Hey look, it's literally a balmy 4 or 5 degrees out here, and we've got fully snowed in mountains, and the half of the lake is frozen over in the southern hemisphere summer. Spring, which is just, I think, absolutely absurd. There comes the VOR now, so we're going to start just tracking our thing along here, and we're just going to be looking for that glide path to come down. When it does, that's going to be when we're going to start sort of descending down. So we've got 13 miles to the runway, 4,000 feet, so we've got about 3 miles until that descent starts. Just going to let the azimuth thing there creep its way in. Speed brake isn't needed anymore, so we can arm that. Horse brake to low. It is going to be a sandy landing, I mean a snowy one, which is unfortunate because, as you'll see as we come into the runway, there is absolutely no reason for any snow anywhere here. However, that's life. So there comes the radial, so I'm just going to start slowly adjusting left and just following it using the heading bug because the Airbus doesn't quite like to just fly VOR radials as one might expect. The glide path is 3.5 degrees, so when that glide path comes in, which it is now, so I'm going to set up 3.5, flaps 1. So there you go, there's 3.5 and a little bit more to the left. So our final track should be 273. So yeah, we're going to see that 3.5 holds us on the correct glide path profile. You can see the runway there already, so that's good, we're in visual range. It is looking like it's definitely a 3.5 degree glide path. So as you can see, we've got some nice sunny weather over here, some nice summery clouds, and then, not clouds even, just general terrain. And then back here we've got a glacier that's coming into the river slash the strait. I think this might be the Beagle Strait. And then Ushuaia Airport is here, and as expected the runway is completely covered in snow, however the surrounding airport is not, and that is something that really does bug me. Right, 7 miles to go, so we're going to drop the gear and the next layer of flaps. I'm going to add a 3.6 degree glide path just to get us a little bit further down. We're a little bit left of the VOR, so I'm just going to adjust left slightly. So basically we're flying directly towards the VOR, and at some point, I think it's about 2 point something DME, let me just quickly check. 2.8 DME on the glide path is when we're going to make a kind of visual switch over and turn on to final and make the landing. So QNH is set. Smidgen too high, but that's okay. It is a very small smidgen. The runway's looking good. the approach. It is lovely scenery down here, sort of sub-Arctic almost. So set up for landing. Maybe a shout on the radio would be a good idea, but I don't think anyone flies around here. Ushuaia traffic, Delta 2334 coming in for the VOR approach, runway 25, 5 miles. There we go, nobody can possibly drive into us now, so there's the glide path again. So that's flaps free and full, and we'll check the cabin. Ta-da! Right, 1500 feet. We've got 4 miles on the DME, following the glide path nicely, and the heading is all good. Just going to put us onto 273, which is the runway. Actually, 272 is okay. We've got a 15 knot crosswind. At 2 miles, I'm going to take over. I'm going to probably dart a bit to the right, just to pick up this final approach here, and then we're going to land on the snowy covered runway, which is in the middle of the dry field, which makes complete sense. But that's the final layer of flaps there. Taking over now. There's the PAPI lights just coming into sight. I'm just going to let the plane drift across. You'll see there is quite a bit of wind, actually, 21 knots from the left. So manoeuvring on final is going to just be a little bit more thought going into it. I think about 700 feet per minute, 800 feet per minute is about
100
right
above.
100 above minimum. So this is actually a minimum point now. We're well below that, so we're actually already decided to land, basically.
Minimum.
This approach is basically, I think, used when the ILS isn't functional, because it wouldn't make sense to use such a VOR approach, so I'm just going to assume it isn't functional. So here comes the snowy runway. We've just lined up with the ILS as well, which is tuned, because you have to have it tuned for this approach. It's 22 knots from the left, so just
300.
adjust into it. Brakes set, speed brakes armed, and landing is inhibited. 57 over the threshold. Okay.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
Touchdown. There's a slidey snowy runway. Obviously how it looks in reality. Not. And now I've got to find the taxiway exit. Welcome to Ushuaia. Temperature outside is 11 degrees Celsius, and yet there is snow everywhere. And it's Argentine summer. Go figure. Would be nice if that wasn't the case. So I'm wondering if it might be better if I just do that. There we go. There we go, that's more like it. That's probably what it actually looks like right now. Let's turn off here, and we're going to go and have a taxi over to the gate here. But yeah, nice approach. Cool little bit of use of all of the aviation skills, following a VOR and then descending on a glide path whilst using a VOR. Quite cool. Just a shame about the Microsoft weather engine, which says that, yeah, it snows in literally the height of summer, or end of spring, I guess, in Argentina. Turn it off because it literally is just ruining the immersion. It was fun for the approach, but it's overkill now. Let's go find a gate that's not ruined. I have a feeling none of these things are going to work either. Go park it up. Let's see if I can get a jetway to work. I can. Nice. This has been Fallout 4 Galaxy News Radio. Thanks for listening. No, never mind. Yeah, cool landing. Shame about the snow. But other than that, quite good. If that is something Microsoft Flight Simulator would be willing to fix, please look at that post in the forum with about 400 likes. Thanks.